Okay, question number one is how you fell in love with the sport?
So I was born in New York City, but then when I was about 6 months old, I moved over to Dublin, Ireland, and over there they start boys playing when they're about 5 years old.
Right.
So I really grew up playing there, and that was where I like began the sport in gym class when I was 5 years old. And from an early start, I really just fell in love with the sport. I was good at it. I played with my friends. I had fun. And I really just enjoyed the whole field hockey community. But then I moved back to America when I was about 12 years old,
Mhm.
and my dad made a promise to me, and he said that he'd look for places for me to play the sport of field hockey. And I was like, great, I'd love to, like, thank you. And losing field hockey was one of my biggest fears coming back to America. So I think that's what comforted me when he made that promise. And he found that there was a high school varsity girls field hockey team at the local public school that I went to.
Mhm.
And so I started practicing with them and playing with them. And I really just got to know a bunch of the girls. They were really great. And the coach was phenomenal too. I played for her club team also, Kim Hannigan. She was really great. So yeah, now I'm at a boarding school in Washington, D.C., and I play with the varsity girls here and love it. And I'm actually, from playing and getting all this recognition, I've been playing with the East Coast High Performance team, who is mainly who I get my where I like get my good practice in.
Okay, that sounds really good. And I saw what I read in the media that your case and Matt was also over there. A lot of journalists were reporting your story. What happened exactly?
So up in New York, they said I couldn't play because I was too good for the girls, and that I would take a girl's spot on the team. But we pretty much fought that I was like half the size of some of the girls who played. I wasn't very fast at the time, so I was not one of the faster players on the team, and definitely not more physical. And that they're like the field hockey program at my school, Southampton, wasn't strong enough so that I would not be taking a girl's spot on the team. So they weren't really. So we had to argue that against Section 11, who was the like committee for deciding that.
Mhm.
And at first they were like, "No, you can't play." So then we had to really argue and even go to like a hearing of them that went for it. So I really had to do that.
It kind of makes sense in the sense that in Europe and in the rest of the world, generally the boys play a different league than the girls. However, after many years in USA, and Matt was saying something similar, I don't think it helps the sport that basically the consideration that it's a sport genetically designed for women doesn't help to promote the sport in USA for boys. What do you feel about that?
No, not at all. I think the more that the more that everybody says it's a girl sport, the longer it's going to be a girl sport. In every other country, it's not a girl sport. That like 105, there are 105 men's national teams and less than that of women national teams. But the best way to revoke that and get boys to start playing would be to just get the word around, to start talking about field hockey. The more people see it, the more they'll realize that it's not a girl sport. The more they're in contact with the whole field hockey world, the more that they'll realize that it's a men's sport as well as a girls sport.
I agree, of course. I think that besides you and Matt will probably in 10, 20 years, hopefully this will change in your country. And those people will look back at you and Matt like the guys that promoted change. And I hope that that it is like that. It has to be difficult for you and him, I imagine, to be so young and exposed to so much media attention, right?
Yeah, no, it's really crazy. It's really crazy. It's been a very good experience, but like I think it's nice that that the media gave me this opportunity to talk to them to pretty much promote field hockey, and that's why I think it's so great what you're doing and doing it in France, and then in like maybe publishing it somewhere in America too.
So, where do you see your future? What do you think that your future with sport will be like?
Hopefully, well, for me personally, my main goal is to try and get on the U.S. national team. And the more I play with the East Coast High Performance Center, the better chance that will be. So that's the end goal for me. The end goal for all of field hockey is like it'd just be great to start with a few teams, a few guys teams, especially in schools. I feel like that will help, and then eventually just make it so like nothing ever was a girls' sport. Make it so how it is in every other country, and how there's men's teams. There's like first division teams, second division, like even as like a professional sport.
Well, hopefully, I think that in 10, 20 years, hopefully your country will realize that the sport is bigger in men than in women around the world, and they need to make such investment. I know there is heavy competition with other sports, but such is most of the other countries, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. It has been great. I hope that you continue playing and not give up and find your way to stay in the sport and keep on improving.
I definitely will. Thank you so much.